Hey everybody. I thought today I wanted to take a moment to brag on, well, all of us, if I can, for a minute. We are 8 weeks into the fall semester and we have 6 weeks left. We're more than halfway through. Yes, I took Math 103 here at Olivet. That's how I figured that out. Honestly, I didn't think we'd make it till October, if I can be totally candid with you, but here we are. I mean, this weekend, today, would have been the first day of fall break, today and tomorrow. And I would have been traditionally in northern Michigan hunting in a tree stand with my two brothers-in-law and some other friends that join us every year. We've done that every year since 1991. But here we are. We're still here. I'm grateful for the way that God has shown us His mercy by allowing us to be here, but it's also taken a lot of work, hasn't it? So I want to brag on some people today. The first group of people that I'd really like to brag on is our faculty. They work diligently to make sure that the classrooms are safe and the way they teach is exactly what we need. They try to be engaging and with everything that they've... I mean, these are faculty that most of them hadn't taught an online course until last March. They didn't know how to teach online until last March. Now, some of them did, but I would say the large majority of them didn't. And they were on a huge learning curve, but they have done an amazing job. But not just that, right? But I was in a classroom last week, and I watched one of the faculty members after that class go through that classroom and literally sanitize every single table in the classroom so the next class that was coming in would feel safe. Look, our faculty didn't come here to sanitize classrooms. Our faculty didn't come here to get paid to do research. One of the things that you might have heard around here, but we like to say around here, is Olivet is primarily a teaching institution, meaning our faculty get paid to teach. Sure, we do research, but our faculty are teachers. They instruct in the classroom primarily. And I just want to say to our faculty, thank you for going above and beyond the call of duty, not only this semester, of course it started in March, but this semester with everything that you've had to navigate. Thanks for that. Another group of people I want to thank are our staff. Staff basically fall into the category of those who manage and take care of everything that happens outside of the classroom. So everything that happens around here, like to these events that have taken place that have never happened here before at a place we didn't even know we had, called the Plex, there have been staff that have been behind that, making that happen. From cleaning the classrooms, to preparing food, to making sure the library functions, to making sure our dorms and our apartments are managed well, to make sure that our grounds are taken care of and our plumbing is fixed and our flowers are watered and everything that has to do with anything outside of the classroom falls under the category of staff. And so I just want to say to our staff, thank you for the ways that you have made this place an easy place to be during a very difficult time and even made it fun. Another group that I want to give a shout out to are our student athletes. Now, you may not know this, but they're the only group of students that have been going through a screening every time they come together for practice. They get their temp checked before every practice. They answer a series of questions that go through COVID symptoms to make sure they're healthy, and then they get their temp checked after every practice just to make sure that not only the team is safe, but the rest of the campus is safe. I mean, the rest of us haven't done that. I mean, you don't get temp checks and answer questions when you go to the Plex. You don't do that when you go in the Perry Center and you take a HIIT class or a yoga class. You don't do that before you go into the classroom. Our student athletes are the ones who've done that. They've carried an extra load this semester. So to our coaches and the extra layers that you've had to add to what it means to coach, thank you. You're helping make it safe. To our student athletes who have complied and followed guidelines as best as we can, right? Thank you for that. Thank you for the ways that you are jumping through hoops that really no one else is jumping through except our student athletes. We see it, and we thank you for helping make this a place that is safe for us so we finish the semester here. To Mike Conway for the way you manage your coaches and all the athletes, you're doing an amazing job leading that team as our new athletic director under a set of circumstances you didn't expect to have. And then for Alicia, and all of our athletic trainers who are working tireless hours in coordination with our health services, Ashley and Mary and others. Thanks for everything you're doing. Again, I know it's noticed in the athletic department, but I just wanted to say from my end, thank you. We're seeing the things that you're doing to, again, make this place safe. And then to the rest of you, keep doing what you're doing. We're 6 weeks away from finishing the semester. And you know what I mean, right? I mean, we don't do things perfectly, but we're doing this together. So let's not point fingers. Let's not call people out. Let's do the best that we can. We all need to recommit ourselves for the last 6 weeks of the semester to follow guidelines and follow protocol as best as we can. This isn't an easy time. You have given up something too. No open dorms, no open apartments, limiting group sizes, student ministries are limited, clubs and organizations are limited. We're doing everything we can to make this work. And so thanks to you for what you do. Because here's the truth, honestly. I've heard several people say this. We're all flying blind. We're kind of making it up as we go. Now, that's not to say we don't have information. That's not to say that what the task force is doing for us, led by Dr. Dan Sharda, isn't helping us navigate what he says are these tremors, these turmoils that we go through. But it's ours to do, right? But we're flying blind. We're making it up as we go. We may know more now than we did 7 months ago. But you know why that is? Because we're not in charge. None of us. We could do everything that we have to do to follow guidelines and protocol. We can do everything we can and still get the Rona. It can still catch up to us. Believe whatever you want to about the virus, but one thing we can all agree on, that we don't control or manage it. The virus goes wherever it wants to, or sometimes wherever it's allowed to go, right? We aren't in charge, but here's the truth. We never have been. We never have been. I don't think I'm a control freak. I really don't. At least I don't want to believe that. But what do you do when your basic liberties are taken away and your freedom to be able to do things? You can't do them in the way you're used to doing them anymore. There are things that I would love to do that I just can't do under the current guidelines and protocol. And I'm not just talking about here. Terry and I, my wife, would love to go to a movie together. We'd love to go out for dinner without wearing a mask. But we can't. So we don't. What do you do when you're faced with issues in your life that we'd rather not face, that you didn't choose, and questions we'd rather not answer? Things we have no control over. I've found myself wondering, am I selfish? Do we value our personal and freedom and liberty over others? Do I think my life is more valuable than yours? Do you think your life is more valuable and important to mine? And when I say that, it makes me think of the Psalms and what they used to write. Why do they prosper when they're doing everything wrong and I'm doing everything right? And we don't. Anyone navigating anything that sounds like this? Well, if you are, I think we're in good company. We're standing in a long line. My mind has gone to Job as I prepared this and the questions that he asked, the bad theology that he was under, and how it was shaping an unhealthy view of God and humanity, the bad advice he was getting from friends, and how that was taking him down a road and some rabbit trails that he just shouldn't have gone on, even to the point in the book where he lashes out asking a series of questions, and God finally sets the record straight with Job. Listen to how God does that. Why do you confuse the issue? God says to Job. Why do you talk without knowing what you're talking about? Pull yourself together, Job. Up on your feet, stand tall. I have some questions for you. And I want some straight answers. Were you there when I created the earth? Who decided on its size? Certainly you know that. Who came up with the blueprints and measurements? Have you ordered the morning to get up or told the dawn it's time to get to work? Have you gone to the bottom of everything, exploring the caves in the ocean depths? Do you know where light comes from and where darkness lives? Have you ever traveled to where snow is made? Seen the vault where hail is stockpiled? Can you find the place where lightning comes from? 3 chapters, God goes on and on and on, and I think you get the point. Job got it. We're not in charge. We never have been. But here's the good news. We know the one who is, and we can trust him. The last 2 weeks, every morning when I wake up, there's a song that plays through my head. God be glorified. Lord be magnified. It's a song that Nathan and Aaron recorded for chapel last Thursday. And I'm not kidding, every morning, it's kind of aggravating to be honest with you. Every morning when I wake up, the first thought that comes to my mind is this song, Lord be magnified. Well, I've talked all semester about us listening, us paying attention to the things going on around us. And so I've made that my prayer. That's my prayer for us in the middle of a pandemic. That's my prayer for us when we're trying to navigate racial tension, a spiraling economy, and a political cycle that we all can't wait to be over. Acknowledging that we're not in charge, but that's okay because God is and he can be trusted. I pray what John, the cousin of Jesus, prayed, that we would decrease and Jesus would increase in us. It's what shapes my daily prayer. Jesus, make me more like you today than I was yesterday. Oh, what does this have to do with what we're navigating? Everything. It's what enables us to be kind, merciful, and gracious during a time when these things are rare. But to people living in the way of Jesus, it is the way we're called to live. God can shape our hearts so we can respond to our culture in that way. It what leads us to pray for ourselves every day. Decrease us and increase you so our world sees more of you and less of us. Lord, be magnified in us here at Olivet, in the surrounding community, and in us. Grace and peace.